Welcome to Workplace Truths with MsKnowledge, Episode 2, Why Good Employees Sometimes Stay Quiet. Lego. Have you ever noticed that sometimes the smartest person in the room is also the quietest? Most of us would just assume that that person is disengaged. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they've learned that speaking up, it comes with consequences. Yeah. I believe that silence is learned because people aren't usually hired to stay quiet. They become quiet after watching what happens to the people who choose to speak up. Maybe some pointed out a problem and then they were labeled negative because that happens too. Maybe someone challenged a bad decision and then they were suddenly left out of meetings. Maybe someone reported unfair treatment and nothing changed. Silence doesn't always mean that people have nothing to say. Let's clear that up right now. Sometimes it just means they've learned it's safer to not say anything. But here's the thing. When employees stop speaking up, this is when the organization loses. Why? Because problems don't disappear. They go underground. Innovations slow down. Trust disappears. Leaders think everything is fine because no one is complaining. But silence is not the same thing as engagement. Many employees have simply decided that their voices isn't worth the risk. So why say anything? What I feel like leaders should be asking, instead of saying, why didn't anyone tell me? Ask, have I created an environment where people feel safe enough to tell me? Let's say that one more time. Have I created an environment where people feel safe enough to tell me? Psychological safety isn't about agreeing with everyone and everything. That's not psychological safety. It's about creating a workplace where people can disagree professionally without having to worry about retaliation. Healthy workplaces, they don't happen because everyone agrees. They happen because people trust that they can speak honestly, respectfully, and still be valued. If you're a leader, let me challenge you for a moment. I want you to think about the last team meeting you had. Did everyone contribute? Or did the same 2 or 3 people do all the talking? Sometimes leaders make the mistake participation from a few people as engagement from everyone. Those are 2 completely different things. Some will be physically present, but emotionally checked out. They can nod their head, complete their work, and never tell you about the problems they see because they've decided it isn't worth the risk. Let me give you a real workplace example. Imagine an employee notices a safety issue. They mention it once. They're told they're overreacting, right? The next time they see something wrong, they just stay quiet. Not because they stopped caring, because they learned speaking up comes with consequences. Now let's make it bigger. Imagine that same pattern repeated across an entire corporate organization. That's how cultures become toxic, y'all. Period. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens with one ignored voice at a time. Leadership, it's not about having all the answers. Leadership is about creating an environment where people are not afraid to deliver to you the difficult questions. The best leaders that I've ever worked with were not always the smartest person in the room. They were the people who made everyone feel comfortable enough to want to contribute. So before your next meeting, before your next one-on-one, before your next performance review, ask yourself this. What have I done this week to make it easier for someone to tell me the truth? Because culture, it's not built by mission statements. Culture is built by what people believe will happen after they speak. If they believe they'll be respected, they'll speak. If they believe they'll be punished, they'll stay silent. And silence has never solved a workplace problem. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Workplace Truths with MsKnowledge. If this conversation challenged you, the way you think about leadership, workplace culture, or communication, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget, like this video, subscribe, share it with someone who leads a team or hopes to one day. Next week's episodes, don't forget, today is Wednesday, Workplace Truths. Monday is all about career elevation. That has been posted. We're working on the STAR format this week. And then Friday, I'll see you guys again, Mind Shift. It's time that mindset shift. I said mind shift. It's just time for me to get off of here for now. But until next time, keep speaking, keep leading, keep building. I was going to say something else. Keep making workplaces a place that you want to be every day. And you know that those that work with you will want to be. All right, guys, let's survive this because everybody belongs. Have a great one.